Hi, here we are at BVE 2018 with a young man called Dedo Weigert who apparently invented the Dedo Light donkey's years ago, I seem to remember, and it's changed my life in terms of lighting, and things have developed into what we have in front of us now, which is the new DLED3, which is a 45 watt LED light source, which I think is one of the sexiest little lights that Dedo's turned out for quite a long time. But this has taken some time to get here. Why have you made this particular lamp?
When I started in this profession, my colleagues from BBC had documentary teams with 12 people. Today, a lot of such work is done by the big one-people team, and they excel in a lack of hands, a lack of time, often a lack of money. So it used to be that everybody was asking, can you make it bigger? And when we started, it was brutes, and we were cooking people. And now, when people wanted lighter, smaller, easier to handle, and some of us still want quality. So I built this, and it's not an easy birth. The history of it is 8 years of learning to find the right language with LED manufacturers to produce the chips that we need, because for highly developed optics, double aspheric optical systems, the regular LED doesn't do, causes big problems. Color distribution is not right. Then there are fairy tales about LEDs, like they create no heat. And there's a truth at the bottom of fairy tales, because the forward heat is very little. Yeah. But on the LED itself, there's tremendous heat, and if you don't get rid of it, the LED dies.
So heat comes out the back, not the front.
And a halogen lamp at 2,927 degrees was happy. We call it 3,200 Kelvin. This one at 85 degrees is very sick. At 100 it dies. So one of my capable engineers in my very good and very valid research and development department said, why don't we use a fan? And that's a bad word. We don't like that. And
I'm a great fan of this.
So we can attack this in the way politicians do, and lights with a fan we call active cooling. Sounds better, but doesn't satisfy the sound man. So the other way to do this is to get rid of the noise. To have a fan that allows us to shrink the light. This was actually a 20-watt light.
Okay.
Now it's a 2 times 40-watt light in the same package.
So effectively 80 watts in there.
Because it has a totally quiet fan. My hearing is bad, but when you put your ear right next to it, it sounds like the bee in neighbor's garden.
I can't even
And when you put the ear right in front, and you can do that,
I can't even hear that.
There's no noise at all.
No.
And that's what we're proud of. The smallest possible package that you can get with a lot of power, a lot of reach, and there's more to it, because it gives you clean skin tones. And we've shot hundreds, thousands of tests with human skin, because that still is one of the major tasks of image making.
I think that's across the board with LEDs, that I've come across so many that everybody's unhappy because they just don't get skin tone. They don't realize that's what's missing.
And that is why we invested many years and endless tests. Why? Because the digital camera sees LED light different than spectrum analyzers or color meters. So we went in a very old-fashioned way, like a cameraman. We take reference light, we take LED light, and we see does it match. It's not portrait photography, it's comparing skin tones. And making that happen for all the different interpretations that you get from the different digital cameras is a nightmare. And it took us years to overcome that. And this is one of our LED lights that can do that. The others can do that also. It's the smallest one, and we're very proud of it.
I think it's a brilliant tool. It's one of the nicest little lamps that you've turned out for quite a while. It's the fact that it's a small package. The little 3-lamp kit fits in a cabin bag size pouch that you can travel with quickly, easily, with batteries, and it's got all the little accessories that all your other lamps work with, including soft boxes.
Light is terrible to light people because the light exit is so small it's very aggressive. That's why you need the softbox.
Yep.
But for other purposes, you need the focusing range that is not easy to reach by other lights. But it's all the optical and other accessories, like they're used for the highest demands of our industry and the special effects. That's why our lights were used where the highest demands are, like all the special effects of the Harry Potter series, the Dedo Light, Lord of the Rings is. Maybe you remember the roses in the American Beauty.
Yes.
Each one of those roses
Was lit.
is lit by one Dedo light, but you don't see it. So, as Jonathan Harrison, wonderful teacher, always says, the key is subtlety. And to have something that has all the technical abilities but allows subtle accents, subtle lighting, unnoticeable lighting, and that's one of the major essences of our art and our wonderful profession.
And that's all wrapped up. That's all wrapped up in this little lamp, the DLED3.
But it has a major problem. Now that we worked so hard on it, people think it's too small. Yeah? And then they usually have to ask how many watt, because cameramen don't know how to ask how much light. We never learned that. Yeah?
Doesn't work. LED watts don't work like incandescent watts, do they?
And watts don't work like light.
No.
Yeah? So
No, they don't.
there's a long way and a lot to learn, and I'm still learning.
Indeed. Well, there you have it. The sexiest little light on the market at the moment, I think, the DLED3. It's got all the attributes of all the larger lights that Dedo produces, but in a tiny little package that'll fit in a bag, that'll fit in an aircraft cabin. Dedo, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. And I'm really looking forward to using your tools. It's been a pleasure for many years, and I've got new toys to play with.